Greetings, 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 royal family. I'm back. Housewives of Atlanta, episode 18. This was a good episode. I was laughing and laughing and laughing. I definitely enjoyed myself. Did you guys notice how Tanya, Nene, and Cynthia, they had like a good time at the beach when they ran into Grandpa? They were taking pictures and Marlo was getting her makeup done. Marlo said she wished her friends were rich so that they could have staff too. Okay, Marlo. Marlo said she don't need a peach. Okay, she got a makeup team. Okay, that she flew in to Greece to get her beat. I'm here for it. So the ladies are on the bus, right? And I don't remember where they're going at this point, but Candy's talking about her surrogate. Cynthia says that Mike wants to have another baby with her. So they're just having like conversation back and forth. And jokingly, Cynthia says that she might be pregnant because she hadn't gotten her, her cycle in a couple of months. So Nene, at this point, Nene in her confessional, Nene says, Cynthia ain't having no more kids. Where her eggs at? And I said, I already see what this is going to be. Here we freaking go with the shenanigans. Here we go. So, this is when they're going to the restaurant, lunch in the sky or dinner in the sky, whatever it's called. So they arrive at the restaurant, and that's where they're going to be airlifted in the air while they're eating. So Nene, she kept her composure because she is afraid of heights, and I think the ladies know that. I think Candy and Kenya were having conversations about that prior to the ladies even leaving, and they were sniggling, giggling about it and say like, don't say where we're going to go because Nene's not going to want to go. But whatever, she kept her composure. And she eventually had a good time after a couple of glasses of wine. So Porsha, oh gosh, Porsha says that this place looked like a construction site. And I said, see, everybody had jokes in this episode. Everybody. So they're all drinking their wine. They're all airlifted. They're drinking their wine. The scenery is really nice, really beautiful. And Cynthia goes into wine connoisseur mode. Okay, so the ladies were like, ooh, Cynthia you could tell that she was so excited to be talking about this particular wine that they were drinking. And Kenya just basically tries to shut her moment down and fact check her. Kenya, she proceeded to question Cynthia's choice as it pertains to what wine she would pair with what dish. And the women, they noticed. I think Marlo said like, wow, like this is so embarrassing. And it's just like Cynthia, she felt uncomfortable. And it's so crazy because it's like all of these women are in close proximity to the Acropolis in Greece, sightseeing in Greece. And Kenya was not able to find an ounce of class or decency anywhere. Like she just couldn't do it. It's just not in her, y'all. All of you Kenya fans, it ain't in her. It's not in her. So again, Cynthia, she looked embarrassed and she looked pissed and everyone noticed it. And to that, I say, serves you right, Cynthia. It's your turn now, because when Kenya was doing this to other people who you deemed friends or who you were close to, you sat by and you said nothing. So it's your turn. So I didn't feel sorry for her in that moment. I mean, it just made Kenya look bad. Like I said, Kenya does this by herself. No one has to make Kenya look bad. She does it all on her own. So she then goes into quizzing Cynthia, like, oh, how many red wines are there? How many this there is? How many that? And then Candy tries to like break it up, I guess to save Cynthia from all this embarrassment. And Candy asks Kenya, how many wines are you selling like at your spot? And everyone started laughing. And again, I guess she felt bad for Cynthia, whatever. So after this, they do a little bit of shopping. And then they smash a few plates, which was fun. So they all had a good time. And Kenya, they're walking around like the market. And Kenya is like, where's Cynthia? Where's Cynthia? And she's hounding her to purchase wine for her to take back home. And Cynthia is not trying to hear what Kenya has to say. So I thought that was interesting, because if you want Cynthia to buy wine so bad, why don't you buy it? She's like, Cynthia, you need to take some wine. You need to take some wine. So Kenya's basically just screaming through the streets. And Cynthia was like, I don't want to, And at this point, they pan to Kenya in her confessional. So production asked Kenya, you flipped out on Tanya for saying that, you wear a wig. Why are you so, not aggressive? What did they say? Why are you pressing Cynthia so hard about, her wine knowledge and doing it publicly? So Kenya, she gets mad in her confessional, honey, at production. So she says that that's two totally different things. And she got really irritated. So I said to myself, well, yeah, what does one have to do with the other? But then it made sense. So production, I think, is gunning for Kenya. And I believe that they're going to let her have it at the reunion whenever they're able to film, because filming got pushed back, because of all of this stuff that's going on. So Kenya, she gets real flipped with production, and she tells them that, she's going to walk away if this is what they're doing, if this is what they're going to do, and she doesn't like these questions. And it's just like typical Kenya. You throw a tantrum and you deflect when a logical question is presented that you can't answer, or when your behavior is basically brought right back up to you, to your face. The correlation is Kenya went at Tanya in reference to Tanya telling the other ladies at the spa that Kenya wore a wig, and Kenya was adamant that this could mess up her business, and she has a brand that she built with her hands, so much so that she called Tanya the C word, called her out of her name. Right? So you doing this publicly to Cynthia, you are trying to discredit her and her wine cellar, making it seem as though she knows nothing about wine, and you are doing it publicly. The show is filming. So I totally got the correlation between the two that production was trying to bring up. And it was a great question. So, of course, Kenya, she never takes responsibility for anything. So she got mad and she threw a temper tantrum. So they all get back home, and Tanya and Porsha, they present Cynthia with a evil eye bracelet that they had purchased for her while they were out shopping in the market. So they also pointed out Kenya's behavior. And Porsha gave her, some good advice. Porsha said to her, like, you shouldn't let anyone treat you this way, yada, yada, yada. And what did Cynthia do? She says that it was a joke, and she knows how Kenya is. But Cynthia did acknowledge that, she would not have been able to do that to Kenya. So again, she gives Kenya a pass. And she says that Kenya is going through a lot, and she knows she's going through a lot. Anyway, this is why I say good for you, Cynthia, because that's all you do is you give her a pass. Anyway, now notice how chummy and cool Nene and Cynthia are this trip, right? Have you noticed that? It seems that I think that might be ticking Kenya off, because we know how she is when it comes to Cynthia. And it just seems like everybody's just having a good time. And Kenya doesn't, she hates to see it. Anyway, so they're on their way to a vineyard for a little bit of wine tasting. And Tanya told Marlo that she saw like an older gentleman, Grant, like an older guy at the beach, and he was her type. She said it jokingly. And then the conversation turned into what kind of men does Marlo like? Tanya asked her, what is your type of man, without mentioning money or status. So Marlo goes into talking about, a man that has to own his own business. And Marlo's point is this: we can't really talk about much of anything, or you can't do much of anything without money. Listen, that's what Marlo likes. It is what it is. I know Tanya was just having an innocent conversation, but Candy, she got a little testy. Did y'all notice that? She got a little testy, and she started talking about Todd. And I was just like, girl, nobody wants to hear about Todd. And she asked Tanya, was Paul making millions, or a millionaire, or had millions prior to her meeting him? And Tanya said yes. So she's like, that's you. Yo, Candy got so she got tight a little bit. So she's just basically trying to sell Todd. Todd, he was like in the 100,000s, but he had ambition. She was just, and I'm saying to myself, why is she getting so testy? Now in the middle of, oh my God, these ladies had me rolling this episode. In the middle of Candy basically trying to sell us Todd, right? Porsha yells out, "Come on, lemonade." Because you guys remember the joke? Mama Joyce said about Todd that Candy turned lemons into lemonade. I said to myself, it is, oh my gosh, everybody is coming with their A game, and everybody had me rolling just about. So Marlo said that, look, she is 43 and she is past the stage of basically grooming a dude. You know, like, oh, working your way up through this. She said she is past those stages. Marlo, I totally feel you. And Candy, like, she really got defensive. And I just say, like who you like. Like, Candy, you can't discredit. I don't know if she was trying to do that, but, like, you can't discredit Marlo because Marlo knows what she likes and she goes after what she likes. Like, Candy just mad because she has a liability on her hands, child. Anyway, then Nene goes into, like, talking about relationships and wisdom. And I think Porsha ended up asking her a question. And they're all listening intently. Nene just basically feels cheating, in her opinion, cheating isn't a deal breaker, not for her. She says, you know, if Greg goes out there and does something, she goes out there and does something, they both gonna come back home and be together. It is what it is. You know, people need to talk and figure out what is it that you want out of this relationship. So you can tell that they're listening intently. And I forgot the question that Porsha asked, but she was listening intently. So that was the remainder of the ride to the vineyard. So once they arrive at the vineyard, okay, first of all, the guy, the host, the gentleman, he is, you know, introducing himself. Can we please give Porsha props? We got to give Porsha props for introducing Cynthia to the host and also shouting out Cynthia's wine cellar. And this man ended up saying that he has friends and connections in Atlanta. Shout out to Porsha for that, you know. So they all ended up getting, and you can see Kenya is fuming. She looks like that fake smile. Anyway, so they all get a lesson in wine tasting. And Cynthia, she's taking in information, you know, asking questions. And Kenya, eventually they go into the shops, the wine shops, and Kenya now wants to buy her quote unquote friend a bottle of 3 of the wines that they tasted. Now, I wonder if Porsha didn't acknowledge Cynthia at the very beginning of the trip, if Kenya would have done that as far as the wines, because just not too long ago, you were screaming in the streets when you guys went to the market, oh, Cynthia, why don't you buy some wines? Why don't you buy some wines to take back to your cellar? Anyway, child, I can't with her. So moving along, we see Porsha and Nene. They go off to have a talk. I think Porsha did an excellent job at articulating herself. And Dr. Sherry would definitely be proud. She was clear. She was straightforward. She didn't sugarcoat. She let it be known. You know, she let Nene know how she felt, what Nene did to her, how she felt about that, what she will give to Nene as far as a friendship is concerned, and what she also expects in return from Nene. Beautifully done. Therapy is definitely working in her favor. So, I mean, Nene did receive it. Nene did apologize. They apologized to one another and they hugged it out. And I don't know if they're still friends. We'd have to wait to see at the reunion, but I hope so, because I was looking forward to them mending fences. So they end up going to dinner. And at the dinner, Porsha, she announces that she kind of wants to take over as the host. And she wants to host an event to get like everybody together, but I guess mainly to try to get Nene and Kenya to make up. So it's gonna be like a burn party or something like that. So, you know, the theme was really cute. So they noticed that like Kenya, she walks off and she's upset at this point. And I really don't even care what she's miserable about. Like, she feels that she shouldn't have to make up with Nene publicly because Porsha and Nene made up privately. How did they make up privately when it was filmed? It's just like, oh, she finds every reason to just be miserable about something. Anyway, moving along. So Porsha, she gathers the lady for this little meeting, this little rendezvous, say whatever you want to call it, burn party, rummage party, rubble party. And I noticed, right? Let me know if you guys noticed this. I noticed that Candy and Kenya, they were kind of annoyed that all the ladies, especially Nene and Porsha, were getting along. I don't know. I just don't understand why Candy was so concerned to know exactly what Nene and Porsha talked about privately. And I just think that Candy and Kenya, maybe Kenya's energy is rubbing off on Candy. But Candy and Kenya, they came off as so negative and a little bitter during the trip. Is it just me? Tell me what you think. Maybe I didn't, I don't know. Candy was getting on my nerves too. Anyway, so Porsha, she gets emotional. And then she kind of went into mentioning how things are all good with her and Nene. And Kenya, you could tell she looked pissed. Cynthia then addresses Kenya. She said that she felt like Kenya was making her a joke. And Kenya apologized. She says, you're my sister and all this other crap, this fake crap. So she apologized. Nene speaks up and she says to Cynthia that if it had been her, she would have gone harder, you know. And Kenya, mind you, this is an exchange between Nene and Cynthia. So Kenya chimes in and Nene calls Kenya a big bully. And then they start arguing. Kenya, as usual, she doesn't stop. And she calls Nene bipolar. Then says Nene begged for everyone's friendship. And, you know, you beg the ladies to be all the ladies to be your friend. And Nene says that's why her husband left her. Now, I knew she was going to take it there. And, of course, the ladies, they're trying to stop her from talking. And it doesn't work. And Nene, in her confessional, oh, gosh, Nene said that Mark and his nose ring twirled right on out the marriage. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to pause the TV because I was coughing uncontrollably from laughing so hard. And Kenya was fake upset that Nene called her a B, the B word. She's like, really? You're going to call me a B? Girl, knock it off. You called Tanya the C word and felt justified doing it. Knock it off. So Nene is letting Ken have it, okay? And no one can get her to stop. So then she eventually, Nene said Mark and his nose ring twirled right up out the marriage. Bye, Mark. Yo, too funny. So then Nene ends up calming down. And Cynthia the whole time is sitting there looking so uncomfortable. But I don't know. A part of me was just like, Cynthia looks like, yeah, go ahead, Nene. Get at her, Nene. She doesn't say anything. Anyway, so Kenya, she moves on. And she wants to she wants to say something to Tanya. She wants to address Tanya. And I said, here we go. Just wait for it. This is going to be a straight up cop out and it's going to be foolishness. So Kenya, she moves on to thank Tanya for being compassionate and not bringing up stuff that she is going through. That's a slight because Nene just brought up, you know, Mark. And it's just like, Kenya, girl, whatever. Anyway, she then tells Tanya that she was disappointed because she didn't get an apology from Tanya about revealing the wig. Tanya brought up the cookie lady, which was a great rebuttal, right? And she brought up the fact that, you know, Kenya, you brought her to my face to lunch. You're talking about, you know, businesses and reputations and things like that. Nene chimes in, right? Nobody was talking to Nene. Nene chimes in and says a married woman would never do that. And she called Kenya low. And then Kenya says, whatever she says to her, oh, Nene, please. And then Nene tells her to shut up. Oh, God. She says, shut up. I will blank you up. Now, Nene made the motion like she was going to throw something at her. I think it was a peanut or popcorn or something like that. But she didn't. And Kenya brings up assault. She's like, go ahead, throw that peanut at me. And you'll be going to jail for assault. It's like, girl, Nene stands up. And that's where the episode ends. Now, let me tell you, these ladies brought it this episode. Oh, gosh. Porsha with the come on lemonade. Porsha says she thought she was at a construction site. Oh, my gosh. And Nene saying, Cynthia ain't got no eggs in her confessional. Oh, Lord. This was too much. This was too much. You could tell Nene was irritated with Kenya. I don't know. I don't know if Nene had too much to drink. I'm not making excuses for Nene, but I'm going to tell you something right now. Kenya, whatever. Like, just whatever. So what? Nene's telling you to shut up. It is what it is. You do need to shut up. Like, you're pathetic and you're mad. You're ticked off because Nene and Porsha are cool. You're ticked off because you see Cynthia having a good time. This ain't got nothing to do with your marriage falling apart. This is how you are. And it seems like the only person that kind of has your back is Candy. And the two of you seemed very miserable throughout the trip. And I don't know. I don't know, Kenya, you were doing way too much as usual. You're trying to be bossy to people. But again, this is I ain't even making this about Kenya. Nene was funny. I'm sorry. She had me rolling. Now, I guess next week we'll see Spitgate. You know they're gonna draw this out. So we shall see. So Royal Family, this concludes this review for these housewives, honey. Season 12. Oh my God. It's almost over. It's almost over. And hopefully we will get an updated date for the taping of the reunion that has been pushed back for safety reasons. So get that in the comments. Respectfully share your opinion. Let me know what you think. Yes, I guess Nene was offensive. I guess some people are going to say that what she said about Mark leaving her was offensive. I don't think it was offensive. I thought it was, I just thought Nene was just throwing shots. You know, it is what it is. Like, Kenya, don't try to be demure now because you're going through what you're going through and you don't have any ammunition. Because had the roles been reversed, please, there would have been nothing that was off limits for Kenya. So listen, I was thoroughly entertained by this episode. Hopefully you guys were as well. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out. Make sure you drop a comment also before you leave out the door. So I will meet you guys down in the comments, Royal Family. Until next time, peace.